So why can we not try to evacuate at least some? Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? Set an optimal course and carry out the orbital strike. We will not waste any more time in this world. Pull back. No. Which of the inhabitants can we evacuate? The nobles you rescued at the starport have given the coordinates of shelters where we can find surviving aristocrats and their families. As for Sergeant Malger's troops, they will help to control the crowd's frightened commoners and prevent shuttles from being overloaded. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can use now. I think the fusion reactor has to be saved. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like that's actually important. And the knowledge there, like, can you afford to not save all of that knowledge and all of those electro priests? And then I think I get to pick 2. So we're doing this. I'm saving commoners. I'm not saving nobles. Like, F that. I think Tess has always been for the common folk. So reactor first, and can I can't quick save. No, if I don't like this decision though, we can reload, but fusion reactor first. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself. If you indulge your vanity, you will doom billions to an eternal torment at the hands of the arch enemy. Do not forget yourself. One more objection from you and I shall forget all about the need to delivery to Footfall. Yeah, it's my girl. You detect a flicker of something beneath his sanguine mask. Whatever it is may be does not seep into the interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the arch enemy could infiltrate the ship with the priest escorting the reactor. Keep that in mind for the future. Consider it done. It is likely our shuttles will have capacity to evacuate some people. Have the pilots extract commoners who have not yet converted. Consider it done. They'll bring us to the limit of our capabilities. We have no more shuttles to use in the evacuation effort. This is Tess. This is who Tess is. She's willing to take this risk. The bridge is in an upheaval. The technomat's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all of this tumult stands Pascal with a data slate clutched in his hand, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. Magos, why don't you soon control the technomats? Pascal, this is your ship now, your temple, so start... What? We're not yelling at him. Crew, heed the words of Magos Hanneman. Pascal, I kindly request you take charge of this. What's going on? The warp sextant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I'm currently calculating a plea that might appease an honorable spirit. Yeah, we'll go with the crew take heed. He's in charge. Thank you, your ladyship. You're right. Pascal's voice changes when he addresses the crew, now speaks with an authority and resolve. Tech comrades, heed my instruction. The mayhem immediately subsides. The crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omniscience servants start working in sync, and the Benhart clamor becomes a symphony of reports, which the Magos coordinates like a skillful conductor. Admirably done, Pascal. Yeah. The Omnicia guides me. The prayers of the tech priest surrounding the cogitator almost drown out sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechadendrite towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. All right, let's do it. We don't have time for just like explaining. We gotta go. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights, an endless rush of symbols and digits on the screen background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers from the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omniscience creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of Cyber Gargoyle, the same as at the gate of the warrant chamber. I'm just trying to see where the Cyber Gargoyle is. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instruments for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Senior technomats, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol Omniscience Rejoice. I must inform you that for your purpose of safety and complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating the datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. A minor deviation from the radar operation for the sake of appeasing the spirits. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian, the Sarber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it, we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, so in this ritual, I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit, on whose abode you'll be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. No, we're gonna trust Pascal. We're not questioning. We're gonna do this. The metal jaw clamps down. Okay. Down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the images on the vid screen change before you. Connecting 0000.1, 0.2, 0.3. Success registered 789.0344. Access in ID 8627. Act. Gesture to the vid screen. Reach out and touch the key on the instrument panel. Input. Stab true. Okay. Lord Captain. Pascal stops and continues more calmly. Please, you'll anchor the machine spirit before we have removed the restrictions. So what does all this mean? At the sound of your voice, the cogitator servant, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the cogitator housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position. What? Benevolent code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binaural signals and then it is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me. Initiating the standard invocation of the machine spirit, Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins to pour forth from his vox. What should I do? Lord Captain, I now ask that you address the machine spirit. Speak the following commands. By my authority, I revoke the invulnerability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sextant. All right. One of the cogitator vid screens turns red. I believe it's that one. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine. Servant of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up a cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy censers, foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of blood that the Cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you. The world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vid screen. Suddenly he stops. No! His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command. His mechadendrites, clicking their pincers, pull up one lever after another. The vid screen fills with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but conveying something to the Magos. Is everything all right? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit a spark. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flames and gives off a foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omniscience servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out the massive errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirits. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. Perhaps an alternative Horizon protocol, emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movement reveals his desperation. While the vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Let's read it. Stab true, stab false, check. Okay. Machine spirit? Like, I want to try this. Can you hear me? The cogitator servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the Benhark hymns and the tapping of command runes. Query. Rescue. Oh, right. Machine Spirit, this is Lord Captain. Obey me and start the warp engine. Oh, hello. In the name of the Omnissiah, against our doom. Rescue? Yes. Yeah, let's do a rescue. Lord Captain, the excess emotion in your command will render it unintelligible to... Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screen begin to stabilize one after another. Strings frenetically galloping across the green background are replaced with stable images and regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest Vox crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Register warp sextant activated, registering data stream stabilizing. 0 data errors, reporting the warp engine is ready for translation. I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toil in the glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. Lord Captain Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to begin translation to the warp. What just happened? I hypothesized that the ship's spirit heard our prayers and intervened. It summons the power of the Omnissiah to do something beyond my comprehension. It appears the Omnissiah perceives and knows your faith. I know little of the Omnissiah, but what I saw on that screen looks strange, Pascal. Non-standard output of information lost in the data core. Servitors used as data conduits are not always fully lobotomized. Fragments of their thoughts can appear even in pure code. Yeah, I think that there's a lot more going on to Tess's link to this ship, because it wanted to save her. Just like before. This ship is always wanting to save Tess, and I'm very, very excited to see where that leads in the end. Captain speaking, give the order to commence translation to the warp. Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne. Lord Captain, may the Emperor protect us. This is so cool. I also love the lighting here and everything. This is absolutely incredible. So we were actually on the bridge doing this. For some reason I thought we were in a separate room, but now I understand.
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void shift plunged deeper into the Koronus Expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
I like the finality of that, because it does go to show that Auntie is gone. It's you now. This is all on you. Like, I don't know, there's just something very cool about the fact that we did that then instead of earlier, because it definitely is handing off the ship and all of its people to you. They can't look to Auntie anymore. They can't go, oh, I wish Theodora... You know what I mean? Like, that's it. We've said goodbye. This is all on Tess now. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orcelio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibunda system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. Right, because she's missing. The system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with functioning wharf in the Koronus Expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machine worn down by the warp, and allow the servants of the Omnissiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection to the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonis, Janus, and Kiavagama. Master Zachary Wise has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with a rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading, I quote. Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Harmonius Doloroso will most likely expect a visit. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Tessera. I'll be leaving the void ship when we arrive, Tessera. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your ladyship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Tessera Von Valencius has been added to access the list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided she possesses the data crypt. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's voice. So you're leaving? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no farther. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have. I hope we meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard my ship. You're a skilled fighter. What do you say we extend your stay? Let's go with I hope we meet again. He regards you with a curious look and a polite smile. An interrogator of the Inquisition seldom gets to hear such words. Thank you for your hospitality, Tessera. I will not forget it. I wanted to ask him to stay, but he can't. And I feel like if anybody would understand duty and being bound to duty at this point, after everything, it would be Tess. So, this is her saying, I don't want this to be over, but I understand that it has to be over. If that makes sense. An interrogator, and he looks at you curiously. Argenta, who is this reverend? He is the head of the Jerusian mission on Footfall, and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your ship, I request we meet with him. Abelard, do we know anything about the Liege? Vladim Tokara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Oh, thanks, Abelard. Such things are not spoken out loud, but the Liege is the appointee of the Casabilica mission, which is the Footfall chapter of one of the most successful crime syndicates. Okay. The largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixtus sector. They specialize in cold trade, which is the buying and selling of all kind of Xenos rubbish. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several crime factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Tokara, whose appointment benefits not only the Casabilica, but also the most powerful ally in the Koronus Expanse, rogue trader Calgos Winterscale. He's a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Casabilican hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You're a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casabilican barons cross swords with a rogue trader and emerge victorious. Don't forget that and remain vigilant. The Casabilica vile tech thieves. Pascal's Vox barks out the last words like profanity. Victus, tell me about the system. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Mall, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, main base for merchants, privateers, the rogue trader traversing the Koronus Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off limits to outsiders. Altar Templum Calixus EXT-17 has had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. What do I need to know? It's the largest port and trading capital of the Koronus Expanse. It has a dockyard that would allow us to inspect and repair the void ship, and it boasts its own astropathic choir, the Koronus Expanse communication nexus. Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Koronus Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outposts. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely reassemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor in so far as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium, although I have heard that the tithes it sends are underwhelming, to say the least. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain Imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Why does the Liege want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wishes to meet the rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. So Kara does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must be very, very wrong on Footfall if our astropath managed to read such strong emotion in such an anodyne message. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from Footfall Astropathic Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. It's just a brief stop, this place, right? So what happens after? As soon as we resolve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, time will come for your Magna Accessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history. The moment your name graces the list of heads of the Von Valencius dynasty, we're looking forward to this day, Lord Captain. All right, tell the Lady Navigator I give her leave to make translation from the warp into real space. Vigdis begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start preparing for the shift to real space. The measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Vigdis turns to you again. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Theodora's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Tokara will be informed it is required so he can use the dock, and besides, he's expecting a personal audience with a rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of clearer standing. However, there is still a matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with proper pomp and ceremony or choose to visit incognito. Tell me in detail how these choices will benefit. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue trader enjoys special privileges that exceed even the power of the liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. I shall explain if you do not mind. According to the unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions, but there is a catch. The Koronus Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that doesn't prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offense. Chorda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and the people in the Koronus Expanse have not yet even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear the banner of the Von Valencius soars as high as ever. If I may, I'd recommend arriving incognito. You'll have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness and the burden of power, but right now, this is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way, your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I know the last 2 times I've done this on YouTube, I have arrived incognito. And we're gonna do it again. I know we probably, some people, if like you've only watched my Let's Plays, would probably like to see the official arrival kind of thing, but I think for Tess, I agree with him where this is your last time you can take refuge in obscurity. You can just walk into Footfall and be a nobody, and Tess, I think, needs that. She needs one more chance to just be Tess before she has to be Rogue Trader Von Valencius, if that makes sense. It'll be done, Lord Captain. Right? Yes. With your gracious permission, I'll return to my duties. So this is it. We're here. I kind of want to see if anybody has any last-minute dialogue.
Lord Captain.
So, nothing here.
Lord Captain.
This?
You have my complete attention.
Whoa. That's new. He leans toward you, his gaze filling with warmth. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Just in case I don't get this later.
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
I love the way he says that. Okay. I must take my leave. I'm gonna miss you. Oh, he's leaving already. We just got started. This relationship is not gonna get to go anywhere if you leave my ship. It's fine. It's fine. I know we get him back. I do. And I know how to get him back. But is this up here? No. Where is my personal... I had this problem the last time. Where the heck is my personal cogitator? Aha! Is this it? The reflections of the bridge lights are playing on the unit's the unlit vid screen of the cogitator. Next to the machine stands a hunched tech priest who bows as you approach, his body nearly folding in half. Lord Captain, the machine spirit of this mechanism slumbers. Should you wish to awaken it, use the key of your blood. The servitor's powerful jaw closes around your hands with a screeching clack. You feel the cold metal pierce your skin and draw blood. The vid screens in front of you flicker restlessly, filling with numerical combinations. The tech priest by the cogitator nods curtly. The sacred mechanism is awake and ready to receive your request. Pascal informed me that the system is encrypted data stores. I wish to have the tech priest of the this. Without another word, the tech priest turns to the cogitator, raises his hand, and a prayer of Binhart code pours out of his Vox device. Servo motors and the bowels of the machine grow louder in undulating hymn. Responding to his chant, numerical combinations run down the screen. Okay. The machine spirit has discovered numerous critical errors. The data is damaged. Registering an intact segment has spoken of the worlds of Chiavagama and Dargonis hold certain data repositories. The mechanism is ready to provide the Rogue Trader data keys to unlock said repositories. How do I accept the keys? Okay, that's how I accept them. The gracious machine spirit is willing to transfer the data keys to the head of the House Von Valencius by means of Electu, a hypodermic tattoo augment. If you're ready to accept the keys, place your hand inside the servitor's mouth. Deep within the servitor's dark gullet, unseen, burning hot needles pierce your wrist, but the sharp pain only lasts a moment. The Electu that has been planted inside your wrist should be enough to open the repository doors. I need to know more about these caches. Oh, okay. The Omnissiah favors you. The machine spirit is willing to commence the calculation procedure that could restore lost data. Okay. Let's, talk about the Dargonis. The machine hums louder until it lets out a resounding crackle. Then the sound stops and an unmoving numerical combination lights up on the screen. Tech pre-synthesized voice sounds almost concerned. The data has been restored, but it's only a single phrase. Litanies of the motive force. That is all the sacred mechanism was able to salvage. And Chiavagama? The tech priest the servo motors within the cogitator pick up the pace, their heavy thrum growing louder. Machine click abrasively for several minutes until eventually a numerical code appears on the screen. The tech priest turns to you. Blessed are the Omnissiah's deeds. The repository on Chiavagama has security system guarding it. The machine spirit has recovered a code that will allow you to disable the defenses. So what data repositories? The remains That remains hidden. Encrypted databanks belong to the esteemed Theodora von Valencius. She was the only one who could have known about these repositories. Perhaps the former Engineer Prime also could have known Omnissiah except his code. If I were to propose a hypothesis, it would be the most prudent of figures as eminent as the rogue trader to store her classified data in receptacles most secure. Who are you again? I am IH-630, the Adeptus Mechanicus, a faithful servant of the Machine God. The venerated Engineer Prime has entrusted the sacred mechanism into my care, so I may assist in your understanding and comprehension of its hallowed code. Have the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus been able to discern how the ship was able to start her warp engine? The Engineer Prime spends hours pursuing the quest for knowledge in hopes of comprehending the nature of said miracle. May the Omnissiah grace him on his journey. Grace guide him on his journey. There is no doubt that it was a miracle sent by the Omnissiah as a manifestation of his will, yet the Engineer Prime managed to perceive some logical connection with the streams of data. I'm not privy to this connection, but the Engineer Prime will surely share his newly discovered knowledge with you in a detailed report. Okay. What they're saying is they have no idea, basically, right? Is that what I am to gather? Nobody has any idea how my ship was able to do and say what it did with me at the time that it did. It just did. Okay. I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that. My ship is a special ship.